Hi, it's Mary Dacey again, and we're going on number 3 video or vlog of fibromyalgia. And I just wanted to go over all the different symptoms people have. And this is why for years it took so long to get a diagnosis. Because some of these symptoms are just so vague, or they go hand in hand with something else. So first one is mood swings. Now, mood swings could be anything. You could have PMS. I mean, it's just so general. Irritable bowel syndrome, we've talked about that one. Almost everybody that has fibromyalgia will have irritable bowel syndrome. Chemical sensitivity, I told you about how certain odors will affect me. Things that might be in floor cleaners or pesticides or fertilizers. Night sweats, fatigue. I would have to imagine every fibromyalgia patient would list fatigue as one of the number one issues, right along with pain, migraines, anxiety. Why wouldn't you have anxiety? You have all these issues. You can't function, and nobody can diagnose it, and nobody believes you because they tell you, well, you look fine. Anxiety is huge. Non-restoration of sleep. That's huge also. Once upon a time, I was on Ambien, but I was one of those people that was functioning on it, but didn't know I was doing anything. But I was ordering off of the TV all night long and packages would show up, or eating all night long, and I had no clue where all these dishes came from. Sensory overload. We talked about noise, bright lights. These are very common. Widespread pain. So I don't know if this is the same for everybody with fibromyalgia, but I would complain almost always about one side of my body. But when I'd go to a doctor and he'd press the other side of the body, that hurt too, maybe equally. But it wasn't in my mind because the other side hurt so much that I didn't even realize that it was both sides of my body. Shortness of breath. Last summer, and it's been happening not as frequently as it was then, but on occasion, I will be out of breath walking 10 feet. I just, and I don't understand why. I have never in my life been able to run. I'm a whiz at yoga, but running, I would be out of breath in 2 steps. I just have never been able to do that. morning stiffness, nausea. I could be stressed and just start throwing up. We also have bloating and sciatica. We have poor balance and circulation, so we're very clumsy. People with fibromyalgia are always bumping into things. Depression. Who wouldn't be depressed? Unregulated temperature. So whenever I went to the doctor and they'd take your temperature, it would always be very low. It would never be like 98.6. It would always be like 97 or 96.9, whatever. It was never high. But then so many times when I'd start a flare, I felt like I had a fever. I felt like I had total flu-like symptoms. And when they came on, they would drop me on the spot. If I got stressed over something, I could barely walk to get to a bed to lie down. And that's another thing, is that a lot of times I have to lie down, and I have to lie down now. Sitting's not going to help. Sitting won't do it. I have to lie down. Brain fog. This is going to be a good one. So, for years, I have told everybody there is something wrong with my brain. I think I have early Alzheimer's. And, you know, people would say, oh, I forget things all the time too. And, you know, it's because we're doing too much. Well, I'm at the point where I can't be left alone if I'm going to cook anything, because I will burn it, or I will forget to turn the stove off. I know I would have conversations with one of my children, and they would say, but I told you this before, we already went through this. And I would say, oh, I'm sorry, I don't remember. And after a while, one of my daughters said, no, I just don't think you listen to me. I think you just tune me out. And it's not. It's just, I can't remember. Problems with eyesight. So I've mentioned in the past that I had poor eyesight. And on top of that, I had RK, which one eye was cut off differently, so it did something to my depth perception. Then I was put on Plaquenil for Sjogren's, and within 2.5 years, I was taken off because it was already damaging my eyes. Now that I have ANS and dysautonomia, I've read where you think you're looking at something, but your eyes could be somewhere else, and you don't realize it. I know a lot of times my husband, I would ask him for help to find something. He goes, it's right there. It's right in front of you. And I think I'd be looking right in front of me, and he'd be saying, look. And I said, I am looking. Apparently, I wasn't. Apparently, my eyes were somewhere else, but I thought I was looking. It's inconceivable, and it's hard to explain. And that is what I believe was a huge factor in my most recent falls, because I just thought I was looking down so I wouldn't trip over something, but apparently I may not have been looking down, because some of what I've been diagnosed with inhibits your eyes from looking down. Who'd have thought? That's, I think, about all I want to say on the subject of fibromyalgia. I want to say that you can find all of this information, a lot of it, I have pinned it on my Pinterest board. The Smart Patients has a fibromyalgia board that you can sign up to get updates and read all the questions that people write in. Is this a symptom? Is that a symptom? Or I've been diagnosed with fibromyalgia, but this is happening. And by doing that, they might find out that they've progressed to something else. So again, I encourage you, if you know anybody who is dealing with things like memory loss, temperature of their body control, vision issues, brain fog, and they go and they tell their doctor, and their doctors aren't running any tests, or they're not making them feel heard, encourage them to go on the Smart Patient, read all the different things like fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, Sjogren's, lupus, stroke, heart conditions. Read them all and then pick the one that your symptoms match the most. And then after that, add on the other ones in order of how many of these symptoms do I have, and so forth down the line. Once you do that, you will find a plethora of groups out there that deal with just one of the issues, and you can concentrate on that. You can join as many as you want, and pretty soon you can help others by inputting your experiences. Or I was just on this other site and somebody else wrote asking this exact question. You might want to look at this. We have to help each other. We have to support each other. And I can't stress it enough, because all of these autoimmune diseases are life-altering. You no longer have control of your life, because you no longer have control of your body, your mind, your body functions. It's so egregious to go through. And then on a good day, you'll be out and somebody will say, why don't you come out more often? And you might say, well, I'm really sick. And they say, you don't look sick. And you get tired of explaining to people, and you just want to stay home because that's your safe zone. And it's so important to be there for as many people as you possibly can while you're going through this, and have them be there for you and accept their help and give your own when you can. And that's it for tonight. And tomorrow or the next day, whenever I feel I have enough energy, we will go on to my next diagnosis. Until then, have a good night and wake up and start championing for yourself. Bye-bye.